The Senate Homeland Security Committee voting to authorize subpoenas for an array of high-profile Obama administration officials regarding the origins of the Russia probe.
It is a significant escalation of the GOP-led investigation into the investigators. And joining us live, senior legal fellow at the Heritage Foundation and former DOJ official, Hans von Spakovsky. Sir, thanks for coming back to the show. Let's take a look at the list here of subpoenas.
Right.
And there's all the big names are there. John Brennan, Sidney Blumenthal, Clapper, Comey, Page, Priestep, then you got Strzok. It's an impressive list. But what does this mean? Are these people actually going to face anything, or will they just ignore these subpoenas?
Well, they could try to ignore it, in which case the Senate will move to enforce them. But look, this is really, really important. I don't think people realize what a scandal this is. Look, our intelligence capabilities are very powerful. They're supposed to be used for counterintelligence purposes to protect us from foreign enemies. And yet all the unmasking that occurred, particularly by Obama-era officials who have absolutely nothing to do with our intelligence gathering, makes it look as if our intelligence capabilities were used for domestic partisan political spying on the opposition presidential candidate and his staff. That's one of the worst abuses of governmental powers in our history. And people have to be held accountable to ensure that this doesn't happen again.
Well, yeah, the question is who and what type of accountability. Let's take a listen to what Lindsey Graham had to say yesterday.
I think there's some people who are real good candidates for going to jail for manipulating the FISA application process. And the reason I'm doing the subpoena is because it's clear to me you're not going to help me. I'd be an idiot to believe that you're going to help me.
Yeah, he makes a point. Hans, what's your reaction?
I think Lindsey Graham is exactly right. Again, you know, the FISA process is only supposed to be used for counterintelligence purposes, and yet electronic eavesdropping was used in a case, Crossfire Hurricane, that we now know there was no evidence to justify it at all, which means that the lawyers, for example, at DOJ and the agents at the FBI who prepared and submitted those FISA applications to the court misled the court, may have lied to the court, all of which, for example, is perjury. Well, perjury is a federal violation of federal law that can and should be prosecuted.
You know, this story, amid the background of just the meltdown our society is having right now between COVID and these riots, there's a lot of fatigue over Russia and talking about Russia. What do you think this ends up being? Take this out, the long game, when this is over, what happens?
Well, I'm hoping that what the end game is, and when it's over, is that it will so scare and deter individuals who are going to hold positions in the federal government in the future from ever doing something like this again. We do not want our, like I said, powerful law enforcement and powerful intelligence capabilities abused for partisan political purposes. That's extremely dangerous.
Hans von Spakovsky, thank you very much for joining us.